I'm digging the hat, bro.
Thanks. Yeah. Live from the kitchen of myself, with my thinking cap on, clearly ready to handle the podcast.
Yeah,
shall
bro.
we cheers?
We shall.
Boom.
Oh, with the cord on my coffee.
Oh.
Voila.
Boom. The decaf, as you know, is a staple of the podcast.
It is now.
It's part of the routine. It's part of our transition into effective, flowing conversation.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is today's Tuesday. A full week without caffeine.
Wow.
And a full week of taking ice cold showers.
Damn, you were on day 6 yesterday. That's
Yeah.
right. Day 7, man.
Yeah, man.
All right, so fill me in.
Okay.
But first, give me the backstory. So, what was the reason for this decision? Like, why did you decide no caffeine, ice cold showers? I feel like there's steps you could do in between there. You know.
Probably.
Those are extremes.
So I had this like group call for the Level Up Collective, and one of the topics that I wanted to learn more about was supplements, and Jeremy, our friend, mentioned a few supplements, and I looked up a little bit about how detrimental caffeine can be if you're drinking it all the time, and there'd be days where I would drink like 3 venti cold brews from Starbucks.
Dude.
Yeah. And like
3 ventis.
and the third one, bro, sometimes I get it like 5-6 p.m.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
How did you sleep?
Bro, I slept, but I think it was fucking with my like the quality of sleep, you know?
Of
So
course.
I quit the coffee, and then the same day I also started the cold showers, because so for the last like 2 years I've been taking like regular showers, and then at the end I turn it ice cold for like 30 seconds.
Okay.
And I was doing that mainly to like, the hot water opens your pores, the cold water closes your pores.
Right.
It's supposed to be like good for your skin.
Right.
But the full-on cold showers is like the mental aspect of knowingly putting yourself in an uncomfortable situation.
Right.
Like, you turn on the water and you're like, fuck, I know that's cold and I'm about to step into it, you know?
Right.
So, and if you can like regulate your breathing, it ties into your parasympathetic nervous system, I believe. If I'm wrong, sorry, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. So it's like, it sucks, the cold showers suck, but I am seeing like little benefits. Like, I notice that I can see like little changes in my behavior just based on the showers, like very minuscule, but still noticeable.
Right.
The caffeine, Wednesday night at the end of day 1 of no caffeine, I had a pounding headache.
Yes.
Like real bad.
Yes.
And I was like, man, normally I'd be like, fuck, I need some coffee,
Right.
Right. But I was like, okay, maybe I'm drinking too much coffee. So yeah, I feel good. Like, I thought, here's the thing is like, I naturally have a lot of energy. So like, I don't really feel like I need coffee. I just like coffee.
Right.
And I think it was just like a habit,
Right.
and you get addicted to like, I'm just going to drink some coffee because that's what I do,
Yes.
So now that I'm not, and I ordered some supplements, I actually just got the notification right before we started this that they got delivered to my house from
Nice.
Amazon. Yeah.
Okay.
So
What
I'm
kind
going
of
to start checking
supplements
those
did you order?
tomorrow. I got rhodiola rosea.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. Did Jeremy recommend that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Ashwagandha
is a
and
good one,
lion's
yeah.
mane mushroom.
Yeah, those are all really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he told me like, take X amount of milligrams for each one.
Yes.
So I'm gonna start it tomorrow
Yeah.
and see.
I started taking rhodiola as a recommendation from Jeremy as well, and like first thing in the morning. It says to take it on an empty stomach, so I take it first thing in the morning, and I feel like it significantly improves my cognitive performance and my cognitive ability throughout the day, combined with an excessive amount of caffeine. but yeah, I feel like if I drink that with an ice cold glass of water, I feel much better to start my day, and I think you'll notice those benefits too. They're super good.
I'm down.
And I really should get on the kick of no caffeine, because like you, I tried it on Saturday, okay?
Okay.
I was here with my daughter. I tried it on Saturday. At 11 a.m., I couldn't find my daughter's hairbrush, and I was fucking losing it. And I had a pounding headache, and I was like, where is this fucking hairbrush? I said that out loud, and then I was like, that's a horrible thing to say, like in front of my daughter. It's terrible. I'm an awful father for saying that. And so I profusely apologized to my daughter, obviously. And then I had a cup of coffee, and I felt much better. And I was like, I need to stop drinking caffeine.
Yeah.
It's just not good for you.
I feel like in very small doses, it can be beneficial.
Right.
But here's the thing: is like, you're the one that got me on decaf, so it's not like you're drinking coffee late at night. And didn't you say that like you don't drink any caffeine after like noon?
Yeah. So now my rule is afternoon, no more caffeine.
Yeah. So.
And prior to that, like I would take scoops of pre-workout at like 4 p.m. and then go hit the gym for 2 hours and then get home at like 6:30 and just be wired as fuck until I went to bed. And it was like, and then even laying down in bed, I would just be constantly going through my mind. I would notice that my quality of sleep was far like inferior to that of me not drinking pre-workout a few hours before bed. You know? Yeah. And I go to bed pretty early. I'm in bed by like 9 o'clock on on a late night 9 o'clock because I'm up at like 4:30 or 5. You know. Yeah. These days to get in the gym early. You know? But I don't know. I feel like so your method of putting yourself in an uncomfortable situation has become a cold shower. Yeah. And my method has become getting up early and going to the gym, even when it's cold as fuck outside.
Yeah, man.
Especially lately.
It's the next thing on my list is to quit the vape pen. You know?
Oh yeah.
That's like the one bad habit that I have.
Is it the blue e-cigarette thing?
It's not. Well, that's like a brand.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
But I just go to like the smoke shop on Lake Murray Boulevard, right by the Big Lots.
Yeah.
But
dude, weren't you telling me you spend like an insane amount of money on these e-cigarettes?
I was. So when I was smoking the Juul,
right,
dude, it was like $50 or $60 a week.
Dude, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So and
$240 a month. That's insane.
Yeah. That's insane. I would say that's about average.
That's more than my car payment.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's wild.
So now I would say it's maybe slightly less, but like still, and that's like the one. It's crazy because like I look back and I'm like next month I'll be 3 years clean and sober. Damn, right? Dude. So I look back and I'm like I've been sober for so long that it's like no big deal, it seems like to me, you know, but it seems like it's a lot harder to quit smoking than it was to quit drugs and alcohol.
I'm sure, yeah.
And I tried to quit in rehab. I was like, I'm just going to drop everything. And I went like a day. And I was like, give me the cigarettes.
I could do the drugs and alcohol, but I need the cigarettes.
Yeah, so that's like the one thing that I struggle with. Right. So that's next on the list to knock that out. And if I can get rid of that, that's like the biggest like physical negative habit that I have.
Yes.
So
I think for me, or I just in general, like my thought of smoking cigarettes is that I've always just thought like, what a dumb fucking way to die. I've always thought like if I was gonna die, would I want it to be because of cigarette smoke? Like fuck that, And the same thing with like, smoking pot. It's like, if I were to not get a job because I couldn't pass a drug test, I would feel like such a fucking idiot, I would just feel so stupid. I feel like that's such a dumb reason to not get a job is because you couldn't quit smoking pot,
Yeah.
And it's like the same thing goes with dying. Like, do you want to die? Like, no, dude. If I'm gonna die, I want to die like, I don't know, wingsuit flying or fucking skydiving.
Yeah, like the flying squirrel.
Yeah, something cool, Like, did you hear how Kody died? Yeah, he crashed to a fucking mountain while wingsuit flying. Like, yes, yes.
What a savage.
What a savage. Like, what a great death, It's kind of like C.T. Fletcher says. Like, he talks about when his doctor told him that if he went out and tried a competition to get like a PR on bench, like personal record on bench, that it was likely that he was going to die. If he tried to bench like X amount of weight, I couldn't remember what it was. It was like 500, 600 pounds. He was like, that's so much pressure you're putting your body under that your pacemaker will just burst. Your valve will just burst. And he looked at his doctor and he's like, what a glorious death that would be. Damn. He's like, what a glorious death. That is just...
He's a badass, bro.
It's another level of commitment. It's another level of commitment and like and sacrifice,
Yeah.
To the point where it's like, I'm obsessed with this thing. This is my passion and I'm willing to die for it. Imagine what that must feel like to do something that you're so passionate about that you'd be willing to die for it.
I don't think I've found that thing yet.
No, most people will never find it.
I know.
It's hard to find.
It's one may seem that as discouraging.
Right.
You know, like, so many people never find it. I'm never going to find it. Fuck
Right.
it, I'll just work in this job
Yes.
forever. And then you retire at like 65 and you spent like 40 years working. And when you retire, you have like a little bit of money so you can travel if you're lucky.
Right.
And then you die.
Yeah. It's like you spend the last 20 years of your life, let's say from 65 to 85, not doing anything, and those are not the best years of your life. Like, you don't get 20 years.
The golden
of your
years,
life.
right?
Yeah, you don't get 20 years of your life starting at 20, you know. You get 20 years of your life at 65 when you have time and money but no energy
Right.
to go do these things. And it's like, you want to have optimal life is like time, money, and energy well balanced, you know, where you can be young enough to travel, to explore and experience life and have the financial resources to do so. You know,
Yeah.
I feel like that's the key. And I mean, man, it's a challenging objective to achieve, but the beauty in achieving it must be just wonderful.
You know?
Yeah.
That's like, it scares me to like think that how easy it is to just fall into the trap.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Like, I'm in the trap, but I know that I'm in the trap. And so I'm trying to get out of the trap. So that's like step one.
Right.
You know? So I feel like I'm doing some of the right things to be able to put myself in a position where I won't have to retire at 65 with a 401k.
Right.
And I mean, I already have a 401k, so I'm gonna keep it, but
Right.
like have that as my safety net.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, it's a terrifying thing, and so I think that the important thing is you've got to set yourself up while you're young to reap the benefits of you know, smart investments and to be able to live a fruitful life, you know.
Yeah.
And part of that comes with like fiscal and financial freedom.
Yeah.
And I mean, I get that, like, money, they say, like, people say like money is the root of all evil, or money doesn't buy happiness. You've heard those cliches before. And really, actually, the origin of that term, money is the root of all evil, comes from the Bible. And the actual term is, for the love of money is the root of all evil. Maybe it doesn't say money exactly, but whatever term they use to describe money. For the love of like X is...
So greed.
Exactly. It's the obsession with this material item that
Yeah.
becomes the downfall. You know, money itself is an intangible. It's a tangible item. It can't be the root of all evil. It's just something that you can touch itself. But it's the power that it holds, the innate power that people give it, or the perceived power that people give it, that cause problems. You know.
Yeah. That's something that I struggle with. I feel like I'm always stressing about my finances.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to like remove myself, and like I think it's, I mean, I'm sure it has to do with like the way I was raised in my family, you know.
Sure.
But I'm trying to like get out of that loop.
So is your mom good with money?
She's okay with money.
Okay. Is your dad good with money?
Absolutely not.
Okay. So growing up, your mom and dad divorced when you were young, right?
Yeah, I was like 11.
Okay, that's not that young. So you got to see you got to know your parents while they were together for some time.
Yeah, a
And
little bit. I think I've repressed a lot of those memories.
Oh,
I don't,
see.
you know, I don't remember a whole lot of my childhood,
Yeah.
but I mean, I have some memories.
Right. But you do remember sometimes when like your mom and dad were together.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so like once they split up, did you start to notice the parodies and like who they were as people almost immediately?
Well, I didn't see my dad a whole lot after that.
Oh, I see.
You know, so
Okay.
he stayed in San Diego for like a year, and then he moved to Illinois. I saw him like once until like either right before we graduated or right after we graduated high school.
Okay.
So I don't know, but what I do know is that my mom paid for all three of us to go to Catholic school,
Right.
private Catholic school.
Okay.
And she helped with both of my brothers' college tuition. She helped with mine while I was going to Grossmont Community College.
Right.
But it seems as if she's constantly like trying to climb out of a hole.
I see.
Financially.
Okay.
She makes good money,
right.
and you know we have like a house and all that, but it seems like it's a real struggle for her to like get ahead.
Right. Is it just due to like, do you think like irresponsible spending habits, or like she makes good money so thereby like she's increased her liabilities, or?
I don't know. I think it's a combination of like bad luck and because she doesn't like spend money irresponsibly. Like she works at home, she hardly ever goes out, she doesn't drink, she doesn't like buy unnecessary things.
Right.
So I don't really know.
Yeah. It just always seems like there's something that's holding her back.
Yeah.
Huh, that's interesting. And so maybe like you have the same feelings about yourself.
I think so.
Like subconsciously you've put yourself in a box where like my mom always has these issues, so thereby I may also have these issues, you know?
Yeah, and I recognize that.
Yeah, for sure.
So now like that's like I said, like step one of like getting out of the loop of out of the hole of what reality I'm in and what reality I can create for myself.
Yes. And it's like, I think part of that is a cognitive feedback loop, is what they call it in some sense. It's where like you have a negative experience associated with something, and so it's hard for you to see anything beyond that experience. So that experience, whenever it comes to that specific thing, just perpetuates itself over and over and over again, and it becomes cyclical, and it becomes part of the way that your mind functions cognitively. You start to anticipate those problems when they may not even be there.
Yeah,
because it's experienced that feedback so often and so many times that you're now in this loop where it's like you think money, you think trouble, you think problems, you think stress, you know.
Well,
not just you, but like
well, I mean, the way I see it is like, and I'm sure this is a lot of people's mentality, is like, if I had more money, I would have way less problems.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
And I think like a big part of that is like my lack of patience. You know, I'm largely an impatient person, you know, like I want to be gratified right now.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And like I have to remember that like I made awful decisions from the ages of like 18 to 25, you know, and almost 26. And so I really only have a little less than 3 years of like actual adult life experience, you know? So it's going to take a while for me to maneuver and, you know, trial and error, learn, fail, learn, you know, all of that. But again, I'm impatient, and I want, you know, I want to win the lottery, or like I want, you know, like obviously it's not realistic. Like I don't even play the lottery because I know it's ridiculous.
It's just throwing away your money.
Right. Yeah. But it's just like I have to, you know, separate myself. I was just listening to a podcast on the way here. It was a newer one from Joe Rogan. Where it was like, people just need to realize that they are not their thoughts. And I was like, bro, yes. Like my thoughts are like, I want this now. Why don't I have it?
Right.
And I'm
like, woe is me.
Right.
I'm in a worse position than other people.
Yeah. And I don't feel like that on a regular basis, you know, like since I've been on this like meditation and journal in the morning and the evening, I feel like I'm more appreciative of, you know, I write down like every morning, today I'm grateful for blank.
Right.
You know, warm bed.
Right.
The sun coming through my window.
Yes.
Practicing
gratitude for the small things.
Right. Yeah. And so like
that's a good first step.
You know, and it's not like I'm like actively belittling my efforts or belittling other people because they're doing more than me. I'm just in the process of learning to like fully take responsibility for the position that I'm in. You know?
It's like you're fully burdening yourself with responsibility 100%.
I'm getting there.
Yeah. Like you're assuming responsibility for life in every aspect.
Yeah, like the book by Jocko Willink, Extreme Ownership.
Yes.
So, and I feel like there's absolutely no way that can be a bad thing. So I'm trying to catch myself when I'm not doing it and be like, okay, bro, get it together.
Right.
Like, handle this, whatever situation it is that you need to handle, and take responsibility for your portion of it.
Yes.
Or the whole thing, if the whole thing is on you, you know?
Right.
So, like if I'm at work and, you know, I'm a manager at a restaurant, so like if at the end of the night, I'm like doing a final walkthrough, everyone else is out of the building, and I'm doing a final walkthrough, turning the lights off, making sure the doors are locked, and I notice a couple things done, and I'm like, these guys, come on.
Right.
Like, why are they sliding? And it's like, that's my job.
Right.
To, you know, obviously, like, they know what their job is, but my job is to make sure that they do their job.
Yes.
Or to give them, that sounds like a tyrant,
or
you
more
know?
more importantly, to lead by example, right? To give them the tools to be successful.
Right. So,
and
like,
the way you do that is you emulate that, you know?
Right. So, like, a couple weeks ago, we were like super busy, and I'm wearing like a nice dress shirt and slacks, and I'm in there like bussing tables, taking dirty dishes, and blah blah blah. And one of the servers was like, "Why are you doing that? Like, you're wearing a suit basically." And I was like, "It's my job.
Right.
I'm the support of the restaurant.
Yes.
You know, I'm not just here to like
this is not
stand
below
around.
me.
Right.
This is part of my job.
Right.
And if I want you to do your jobs effectively, I need to show you that I'm willing to do my job effectively.
Right.
Right.
So, and the thing is, like, I've done that work before. I don't have a problem doing it, you know, especially now when I'm being paid more money.
Yes.
Like, you know, so
exactly.
but the thing is, like, I can't be mad at my team for not doing what they should do if I don't accurately convey my expectations and my standards.
Right. And if you don't demonstrate yourself doing those same things, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
So.
And you know, I think a big problem in today's workforce, I know this from most of the jobs that I've had and most of the places that I've been in where I've seen managers, is that you have a whole lot of good managers. And what I mean by that is you have a lot of people who are really good at delegating tasks to get a job done and not doing anything themselves.
Oh, yeah.
The problem with today's organizations, and I'm not going to speak on behalf of every organization, obviously, but the problem with the majority of organizations that I've worked for is there's an entire lack of leadership. There's no leadership. And what I mean is that people who are willing to get down in the trenches with their employees, people who are willing to do the grunt work with their employees to show them how it's done. And not only that, people that are willing to develop new employees or just employees in general, develop people to get them to the next level, you know? They want to keep their position so bad. It's kind of like a politician. Like, they want to be reinstated for the next term
so they gotta keep
bad
everyone under the umbrella.
that everyone has to stay underneath them. They have to make sure that those people stay in their place because that secures their position if they do so. Which is a huge fucking problem because you're limiting the potential of some very intelligent and capable people.
Yeah.
And when you have an organization like that, you just end up with a bunch of tyrants who don't know anything and don't have the answers and act like they do. And then the wrong decisions get made because you're shutting out people who might have the right answers or who might know more than you. But you don't want to look like an idiot in front of your manager or your direct, you know, superior. So you're putting down the others around you to make yourself seem superior. Yeah.
See, that's not an issue that I have. There's been a couple employees that have left the restaurant I work at since I've been managing, and I'm like, if you want to, like, even if they left, like, maybe if they weren't even if they weren't the best employee, but like, I know that like I can tell, like, obviously this job is not for everybody. It doesn't matter if like server, bartender, busser, whatever. Like, that's not somebody's like dream job, you know. So it's going to be hard for somebody to come in at a job like that and put in 110% every day. So like, but I can tell, you know, the people that are like, that do take their job seriously, but it's just not for them. And so they leave. And I'm like, cool, bro, put me as a reference, man. Like, I'll help you get another job anywhere you want to go. Like, if within my capabilities, you know, but like, I don't have the attitude of like, I'm threatened by the employees at the restaurant because they're gonna come and take my job.
Right,
Like,
right. If anything, it would be important to you as a person to see them grow and to see them get better. And
Yeah,
be
man.
Better and get into better
that's the whole
positions.
point. That's literally the
Yeah.
point of me being in that position,
Right.
is to do that.
Is to help people
Like,
grow.
like I need to make sure the restaurant is running effectively, but I
Right.
also need to make sure that my people have the skills so that when they move on somewhere else, they're capable of doing the job.
Exactly. This is the thing that baffles me, is that like people do their job shitty because they feel like they have a shitty job. And to me that makes no sense. Like, just because you feel like you have a shitty job doesn't mean you should do your job shitty. You should perform your job to the best of your ability no matter what it is. And I talked about this on my Instagram before, where it's like, dude, if I'm sweeping floors and I'm getting paid to sweep floors, then I'm going to sweep the fuck out of those floors, you know? One, because my name is behind it, because they know that Kody Helm is the guy that sweeps the floors, and our floors are spotless constantly, right? Like, I want a good reputation behind my name, no matter what I'm doing. And I also want to bring that passion to every task that I do. I want to bring that like fervent tenacity to get a job done effectively, no matter what I do. And I think people should develop that perspective. You know, it doesn't matter what you do; it matters how you do what you do.
Yeah, so that's like a two-step part of. There's this book by Simon Sinek called "Start with Why,"
Right.
and there's like he draws like 3 circles, like a small one, and then a medium-sized one, and then a big one. And on the outside is like the biggest circle that most companies use is what they do. And then the inside circle, the next smaller circle, is how they do it.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very few say why they do what they do.
Mm-hmm.
You just explained why you do what you do.
Right.
Because this is my name behind it, and I
Right.
want, this is my reputation, and I want to make sure that when I complete a job that people know that it's going to be done correctly, efficiently, and if there's any problems, they know who they can talk to and that they will be corrected.
Right.
So, but it seems like nobody wants to take responsibility.
Right.
And that's the thing, coming back to ownership. Like, why isn't this done? Well, I don't know.
Right.
That wasn't me. I don't know. I don't know who did that.
Right.
Must have been Karen over there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Must have been Kyle in the corner back there. See him slacking off
Just
over there. Probably him. He never
people.
works anyways. It's probably him.
Yeah. Pawning the responsibility off.
Yeah,
other people.
but it's like, no. Like, why isn't this done? Honestly, I don't know, but I'll get it done right now.
Right. Or like, I tried to do it and couldn't do it right.
Right.
But I gave it my best effort.
Right. Any of those scenarios where either maybe that wasn't even part of your job and it never got mentioned to you.
Right.
But somebody says, hey, why isn't that done? I don't know, but I'll go do it right now.
Right.
100%.
Yeah.
Or
Yes.
like, and here's the other thing is like, if somebody comes and says, hey, why isn't that done? And you're like, why, I tried to do it, but I couldn't figure it out. And at that point, like, before it gets to that point, if you try it and you can't figure it out, go and ask for help.
Yes.
And be like, hey man, I can't figure this out. Do you have any suggestions or whatever, rather than them having like them being like the superiors, the figures of authority.
Superiors.
No, right. Authoritative figures,
Yes. Yeah.
not leaders most of the time.
Self-prescribed. And
Right.
Institution prescribed.
If they have to go find something that's not wrong,
Right.
that's going to look way worse than you not being able to do it correctly and then going and being like, hey man, I can't quite figure this out. Can you like help me or show me a tip or,
Right.
That's going to make you look way better.
Right.
I think you're like, okay, this guy, even if he doesn't know everything, he's got no problem asking if he doesn't know.
Yes.
And that's huge.
Absolutely. Because by doing that, number one, you're taking the initiative.
Right.
Number two, you're willing to admit responsibility for something. And number three, you want to learn.
Yeah.
You're showing that you want to learn, that you do care about doing it right. So you're approaching someone who knows how to do it right to get that answer and response from them, There's like, I encounter managers at my work a lot that this is like the common leader. They call them leaders at my work. And
That's their title?
That's just, they're in the leadership position. Like when you refer to management, you refer to leadership, which is a fucking joke. Because the entire time I've been there, going on 3 years, I haven't met one fucking leader there, ever. Ever. Never met one leader. They're all managers. And so what they'll do, and this pisses me off, and I make it known, people know around the office that like if you're in a meeting with me, like I'm gonna call you on some shit, you know. Even if I don't give a fuck who you are, you could be the director of these programs, and I'm fucking calling you on your shit. So the other day, like I was in a meeting and this director walks in, and I had been very close to this project. I've been working this project for like a year and a half now. Half the time I've been with the company.
Wow. It's
a fucking everyday thing I've been on this project. This dude who hasn't heard shit about the project, you know, we owe one of our suppliers some money. And he comes in and sits at the table and he puts his book down and he goes, "Oh, we're not paying him anything." And I was like, "Why not?" And he looks at me and he's like, "Because I said so. We're not paying them anything. Why would we pay them?" And I was like, "These are the reasons why we should pay them." I was like, "Now give me your reasons." And he goes, "Well, they're the experts." And anyway, we went back and forth with this banter, and I was just not letting up. I kept pressing this guy for a fucking response, and he was not used to that. I could see him getting visibly frustrated, and it got to the point, I shit you not, dude, it got to the point where he was like, "There's no getting through to you." He's like, "I'm done with this conversation because you just don't understand." And I was like, "Well, it's funny because I feel the same way. I feel like you are not understanding." He's like, "We need to find someone who's been close to this project from the beginning." I was like, "I.e. me." And then he's like, "That's it, I'm done." He threw his book on the table and walked out of the meeting. And I was like, who the fuck, what kind of leader does that? You get called out on your bullshit and all of a sudden you're like, you get in your clamshell of fucking ego, you feel attacked and you're like, I'm not gonna deal with this. I'm a leader. I'm gonna leave. Like, you're not a fucking leader, you're a weasel. Like, you're a fucking weasel, man. And you can't handle a little confrontation because it fucking makes your britches all tight. And you get all nervous and shut down because you feel like your badge level should be your air of authority. And you can put other people down because you're higher up than them. No, I'm here to say, fuck you. Because I don't like you, number one. You're an egotistical asshole. Number two, you don't know shit. What makes you more fucking knowledgeable than me, right? I don't know. I'm venting right now for sure.
100%.
But
it's quite entertaining.
But fuck this guy, right? I was so angry. And at the end of the meeting, people were like, "I don't think you understand what you just did." And I was like, "What did I do?" Tell me what I did, because number one, I don't give a fuck what I did. You know, like, I get that this guy's super high up, but fuck this guy, man. I was legitimately angry as fuck. And then I walked out of the meeting and like I haven't heard anything since. They stopped calling the meetings. Like they were bi-weekly meetings twice a week, and this was the first time this guy had showed up. They canceled the meetings. I haven't been one of the meetings since. Either they removed me from the meeting notice and reinstated it without me, which they may have done. But it's like, I don't know, man. My point is like, be open and be willing to listen to people. You don't know everything.
Right, you can't be right 100% of the time.
You can't. And here's the thought behind that. Like, sorry to keep
go
you up,
ahead.
But like, this is a very, very important thing that people need to understand, is that when you speak, you're only going to repeat things that you already know. But when you listen, you learn.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the philosophies or principles of Jordan Peterson is like,
yes,
assume that everyone that you speak with knows something that you may not know.
Yes. Because they do. Everyone has had a different life, no matter
right.
what it is.
Right.
Like, they could be a homeless person, and you look down on them because, like, oh, they're homeless, they don't know shit. They know a lot more about surviving outdoors than you do.
Yeah.
You could probably learn a thing or two from them in case you ever end up in that position.
Right.
I was going to 7-Eleven the other morning, and I was going in there to buy a fucking Bang energy drink before I hit the gym, and this guy out front... I love those energy drinks. I kind of hate them, like pseudo-hate them, because I know how bad they are for me, but they get me so hyped that it's like I'm taking these things. It's like 3 cups of coffee in one can. Anyway, so this fucking guy, he's homeless, he's laying in front of 7-Eleven, and I get out of my car with like a hoodie, sweatpants, a beanie, and I'm walking in, and he goes, "How's it going, man?" I was like, "It's going good." He's like, "Cold out here, huh?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Try sleeping in it." And I was like, damn, dude. I mean, that was really aggressive.
Right.
I was like, shit, like, this dude knows a lot more about surviving outside than I do, and like, he's fucking been doing it for years, obviously.
Yeah. And
that was just kind of his way of venting and lashing out. And
right.
I was like, I could probably sit with that guy and learn so fucking much from him, when most people would just be like, oh, who's this, like, scum of the earth, like, looking at me and talking to me, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, no one's below me. You treat the janitor the same as you would the CEO. You treat the fucking bum on the street the same as you would as one of your parents or a loved one, you know?
Yeah.
We're all humans and we all deserve to be treated equally.
But that's the thing, is like, most people don't do that.
No.
And like, we're all guilty of not doing it.
For sure. For sure. Absolutely.
I think that if people were just a little bit nicer, you know, and I can be an asshole sometimes.
Absolutely.
And I have my moments where I'll get real frustrated, but so mine is like a little different. Like I have a very long fuse,
Yeah.
you know, before I'm like blowing a gasket and I get really upset. Like it takes a lot for me to get really upset, but I also have some passive aggressive tendencies.
Yes.
You know, so that's a whole different side of it. Where like you're, you know, like if you're in the meeting, right, and this guy's like blah blah blah, and you're like, no, I don't think so, whatever, and he's like he keeps pressing you, and then you're the one that's just like, all right, whatever, and like he goes about the meeting, and then for the next 3 weeks you're at work and you're like, fuck that guy, right? But you're mad, like you might be upset with the guy, but you're probably also upset at yourself because you didn't stand up for yourself.
Exactly.
You know, and that's something that I struggle with. So I try really hard to not intentionally put people down.
Right.
Because I got bullied a lot when I was a kid, you know, and I know that it sucks, man. It ruins your self-esteem and your self-confidence, and it's just, you know, people are just a little bit nicer.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
I think my biggest problem is with people who try to control the situation, you know? Like, I'm sympathetic towards the person that you can tell is, like, being bullied or has been bullied or, like, isn't as confident. I'm very, very sympathetic towards those people, the people that don't and won't stand up for themselves, you know, that won't speak up when they feel something's wrong. I have, like, a lot of sympathy for that because I was that person for a very long time. My problem is, who I have no sympathy for, is for the people that walk in the room acting like they fucking own the place and they think they're better than everyone else, you know? That's my problem. And if I don't say something to those kinds of people, I'll be remiss.
Yeah.
You know, I'll be remiss. I'll go through my whole day thinking, like, I should have said something to that person. If they were being an asshole, you know, if they just come in and they're cocky and confident, then whatever. But if they're deliberately being an asshole, it's like, okay, I'm going to let you know that you're an asshole right now.
Yeah.
And because I want you to be aware of your asshole, like, aura, so that you check yourself next time you walk into a room. Because if you go through your whole life believing that
and nobody checks you,
then it's just constantly validated. Right. And it's like I said on the last podcast, like, if you don't have the capability of showing your teeth, you're subject to those who are or who do, you know? And so, like, whenever possible, when people show their teeth, I show mine back, because it's like, no, motherfucker, you're here to play with the wolves and I'm one of the wolves, you know? Like, I'm not here to be a fucking sheep, you know?
Right.
I'm here to come at you just as strong and aggressively, if not more, than you come at me. You know, especially in a business setting, because what are you going to do, punch me in the face? No, you can sit there and get as red in the face as you want, as angry as you want, but at the end of the day, if it's fuck me, it's fuck you too. You know? That's how I feel. And I'm driven by that. I'm driven by that, like, that feeling of, like, when people think they're better than you. I love when people walk into a room and they're like, I'm the best person here. Because then I'm like, think again, motherfucker. I'm not saying I'm the best, but I'm going to make you question the fact that you think you are the best.
Yeah.
You know? And that's oh my God. To me, that's, like, better than sex. I have, like, a heroin addiction to that feeling of just, like, as soon as someone starts spewing bullshit, I'm like, that doesn't sound right to me, you know? Especially in a work setting, in a business setting, you know? I think a lot of it stems from the fact that, like, I don't have, like, an education from a really, like, well-known institution. You know, I've got a master's degree, but they're from smaller institutions, not, like, these big private institutions like a lot of people at work have gone to. So in some sense, like, they feel superior to me because they have a better education from a better institution.
Yeah, like they went to, like, Purdue or Harvard.
Exactly.
Or, you know.
Exactly. And that substantiates their ego. That validates their ego.
It's just a piece of paper.
It's just a piece of paper. And in no way does the university that you went to denote any, like, sort of intellectual capacity, you know, or capability for intellectual thought, you know. That's what people get misconstrued and confused. Is like they have a piece of paper from a university that says they're smart, and they get to the real world and they realize they're not that smart. You know? They're just fucking average. And they might be book smart, but they're not street smart.
Yeah. I feel like I have a solid balance of both.
Yes.
You know?
I would agree with that. Dude, you are incredibly good at mathematics. You're very gifted at mathematics.
Thank you.
I always, when we went to Grossmont together, I was always like, this dude is really good at fucking math. Like, legitimately, you could be an engineer, for real. You can make really good money doing engineering. And, I mean, Elon Musk is an engineer, you know?
Yeah.
And someone commented on his Twitter once, I saw it on Instagram, where they were like, oh, it's, you know, you have to go to the Harvard or something if you want to be as successful as people like Elon Musk. And Elon Musk was like, that's not true. He's like, I didn't go to Harvard, but the people that work for me did. You know what I mean? Like,
what a savage.
Yeah, yeah.
Is he a billionaire?
Oh, dude, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure.
He's got to be, right?
He's got to be, I would imagine. I just like, but more importantly, like he's an innovator. You know? Like he wouldn't even call himself a genius, so I'm not going to call him a genius, but he's an engineer.
He's a genius, bro.
He's an engineer and an innovator on another level.
Yeah.
You know, he doesn't see limits. He just sees possibilities everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, what would happen if we started driving underground? Let's find out.
Right.
You know?
I'm just going to dig a tunnel.
And it's exactly what he said on Joe Rogan's podcast.
He's
Joe was like,
you dig a pit?
Yeah. Joe was like, who did you consult? And he's like, I'm not sure what you mean. He's like, I just dug a hole. I was like, what the fuck do you... Like, how do you have that perspective? There's no limits. Like, that's another level of no limits that we talk about.
Right,
you know?
right.
Just making that decision, just like, what would happen if I drove underground? Let's try it. I'm just gonna go fucking dig a hole and try to drive underground.
Yeah.
And now, like, he's building, like, a freeway infrastructure underground, you know? And it's like, that's the kind of initiative people need to have.
Yeah.
You know? It's like, just a matter of envisioning something and executing on it immediately.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, what's the next step to achieving this? Let's take that step.
Yeah. So touching on that topic, I told you when I first got here, I said I put up like an Instagram TV video, right? So I put it on like my personal Instagram and the Comeback Journey Instagram, the same exact video.
Right.
And I basically did like a little walkthrough of how I got this podcast started and like how unbelievably easy it is.
Right.
And simple, like the whole process, you know, because I feel like, and actually Braden commented on it and he was like, oh, that's really cool. Like, you know, Jared and I, remember Jared? Buckwitz.
Buckwitz, I do.
Yeah.
Jared, yeah.
He was like, Jared and I are going to start an MMA podcast soon. I was like, hell yeah, bro. He would be perfect for that,
dude,
you know?
Fuck yeah. Are you kidding me, Braden, dude?
Yeah, dude.
That's like in his wheelhouse, man.
Yeah, so, and I told him, I commented back and I was like, dude, if you need any help, like, let me know. You would be absolutely perfect for that.
Yeah.
You know? But that's what I wanted to do is I wanted to let people know how easy it is and how simple it is.
Right.
And, like, because I'm sure that there are people that maybe this isn't, like, their, like, life's dream to have a podcast. I don't think it's my life stream. It's just something that I really like doing, you know, but I think there's a lot of people that would want to start a podcast. They just don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
And so it was like a little 10 or 11 minute video of like, this is what I did. This is what I bought. This is the website that I use. And that's it, you know, and
that right there is a leadership trait. You're empowering people.
Yeah, man.
You're empowering people to do better for themselves.
Dude, because it's so much fun and it's like, bro, why not? Why not? Just go do it.
And people argue like, oh, everyone's putting out podcasts these days. Like, okay, so what? People like making podcasts.
Plenty of internet, bro.
People like making podcasts.
Yeah.
Like, why don't you go be miserable by yourself, complaining about shit that you don't fucking like, or you know, like just keep your opinions to yourself. You know. Yeah. That's my thing. It's like, if you
unless you're in like this setting.
Yeah. Right.
We're gonna throw all the opinions out.
Of course,
there,
yeah.
You know?
But if your opinion is like critical of someone else for doing something they want to do, it's like fuck you, man.
Yeah.
Fuck you. You know, like you're just projecting your insecurities on other people. You know.
Yeah, I think you should have like a small group of people that you can rely on their honest feedback.
Yes.
Whether it's positive or negative, like
constructive criticism.
Like. One of my buddies was saying this the other day. He was like, you have a team of people that are gonna be like, that idea is cool, that one sucks, and you're terrible at that. So maybe like work on that a little bit, throw the other one out, but the other two, go for it, bro. You know, and then you don't have to do exactly what they say,
right.
But you can take that and see like maybe they have a point.
Yes.
You know, or like
it's outsider's perspective.
Right.
In the same way that like I would like to call out the fucking asshole in the room for being an asshole, it's important to have a friend that can tell you when you're being an asshole.
Right.
Know? Because then you can check that behavior.
Right.
And not only that, you know they're a reliable source because they care about you and they're letting you know like this behavior is socially unacceptable. You know? Right. And you should work on correcting it. You know? Yeah. Yeah, so I agree. It's important to have those sources of influence. The problem is that, well, I guess I don't even want to anticipate a problem. It's not a good way to put things. There's no problem there. It's just that, like, having someone in your life that can provide you constructive feedback, that is close to you and that loves you and cares for you is a very challenging thing to find. Yeah. Because it's a one thing to be able to stand up to your enemies and be able to tell your enemies, fuck you. But it's a different thing to be able to stand up to a friend and tell a friend, like, I don't like what you're doing. Yeah. And you should change that. It takes a different level of, like, respect for yourself.
Yeah, that's a whole new ballgame, bro.
It's a whole different ballgame, So when you find a friend that will tell you you are being an asshole, don't abandon those people. You know, those are the people that you should pull in a little bit closer.
Right.
Because they're the ones that are going to keep you grounded.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're the ones that are going to let you know when you are acting out of line.
Yeah.
Or when you're behaving a certain way that you shouldn't be, you know.
This is true.
So, and those people are hard to come by. It's rare, you know.
Yeah.
I would say you're probably the only friend of mine that would tell me, like, you're being a douchebag, you know. And, like, I'd be like, fuck
I
you, right?
definitely have said that to you.
Oh, for sure. And I definitely was being a douchebag, you know. I can count on, like, it would take me a lot of hands to count the amount of times I've been a douchebag. And probably a few hands on the times you told me you're being a douchebag, you know. So, like, yeah, I get it, you know. And, I mean, it is what it is, but also, like, it's probably the reason we've been friends for so long, you know.
Yeah, man.
It's just that transparency in our friendship.
Yeah.
It's like, that's just kind of transcended through the years. And I don't really have a close friend like that will tell me those things, you know.
Yeah.
So it's healthy, it's refreshing, and it's just honest and real. You know?
Yeah. I feel like it's like, in order to continue to climb the ladder of your definition of success, people like that are essential.
Yes.
Like, you can't, because if everyone's just like, oh, good job.
Yeah. It's like, you know, participation trophies.
Right. Like, keep going, you got it. Yeah. Cool, bro, that doesn't help anybody.
Right. Like
you're just being a cheerleader.
In life, there are clear winners and losers, and that's it, you know. It's like, not in general maybe, but like in things that you do, like, you won't be the best at them. And it's horrible, if not detrimental to you as a person, if people tell you that you're doing great at something that you're not doing great at. Because then you're
delusional, yeah.
Yeah, you're delusioned. You go through your life believing that you're good at something that you actually suck at.
Yeah.
And that could derail you from doing something that you actually should be doing.
Right.
Know? So yeah, to that note, I mean, it's important to correct people and to have people know, like, when their behavior is not in line, and to do it to an enemy is one, to do it to a friend is another, you know. So I think that building solid friendships and foundations in life based on, like, mutual trust and respect is paramount to a successful life. Building strong centers of influence and networking and meeting the right people and really forging strong relationships and bonds is crucial to success, you know. Not just seeing what you can get out of the other person, but a mutually beneficial relationship.
That's just like, you're conspiring.
Exactly.
You know, and that's not, like you said, it's not transparent. It's like a transaction. Exactly. Rather than just accepting what is.
Right.
You know, like, you don't need to expect anything.
Right.
Just be.
Right.
Just be.
Right.
And, like,
one of my principles of life is give without expectation.
Yeah. There you go.
Give what you know and what you have without anything expectation of return. When Jeremy was working on building his business, I helped him through the beginning stages of that. And he would always be like, dude, like, what are you doing this for? Like, what? I was like, dude, I don't want a fucking thing. It's just that this is knowledge that I have. And if it can help a friend get to the next level, then by all fucking means, man. Like, who would I be to give you something and be like, all right, pay up, motherfucker. You know? Right. That's not how it works, man. You know, it's just not the way the universe works. You put positive out, you put good things out, and that's what you get back. You don't have to ask for it in return if you're putting it out by nature. Yeah. There is no asking for it back, you know. Yeah. There's a book by Keith Ferrazzi called Never Eat Alone. It's a great book, and it talks about the power of, like, forging relationships and forging mutually beneficial relationships, more importantly, that will propel you through life. And he would talk about in his early career, like, people, when he was just becoming successful, people would want to set up lunch with him, and he would always ask them, like, what is the purpose of this lunch? Like, what are you trying to get out of this lunch, you know? And he would gauge whether he would go to lunch with them or not by their response, you know? If it was like, oh, well, I want to pick your brain about this, and that, he'd be like, okay, and what do you expect? You know, like, what's your anticipation here? And then he would ask these series of questions, and they would respond to those questions, and he would decide, like, yes or no, I'll go to lunch with this person based on that. If it seemed like they were being genuine and they just wanted to, like, get to know him and, like, just kind of build a bond, then he would be like, okay, sure. But if they were, like, trying to get something out of him, he'd be like, no.
Who is this guy?
Keith Ferrazzi.
But who is he?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh.
Yeah, like, I read his book.
Oh, okay.
He's CEO of some company you can find him on LinkedIn, but it's a phenomenal book, and there's like
Never Eat Alone.
Never Eat Alone, yeah.
I'm
A
gonna
ton of
check that out.
copies sold worldwide, and it's a really, really good book about like the power of networking and the power of committing to relationships and giving like your all to like building and forging purposeful and respectable and reciprocal bonds, you know, with others.
So have to check that out.
Yeah, it's a great book, man. I highly recommend it. So, yeah, but like, I mean, books in general.
Books in general.
You know.
I got a lot of books I need to read, bro.
Yeah.
I feel like I haven't been reading a whole lot lately, which is weird because I've read my whole life. I've read so many books, bro.
You were always a big reader.
Yeah, and I just haven't, the last like couple months I haven't been reading a whole lot.
Yeah.
I've been listening to like podcasts and audiobooks, which I guess kind of counts, but
There's
I just like
different.
the act of reading.
Yeah, there's
like
something
flipping
different.
the pages, you know?
And I
I
mean,
feel like I get more out of it.
I don't know this for a fact. There you go. That's what I was gonna say. I don't know this for a fact, but like, I feel like retention of information is better when you read it than it is when you listen to it.
I think that that's true for me, but I think that it varies person to person.
Yeah.
You know, because I think some people are visual learners, some people are auditory learners. You know, so it just depends. But for me, for sure, like if I read a book or if I listen to a book, like I feel like I'm gonna remember more if I read it.
Yeah.
You know, which is, it's great because I love reading, but the downside is like audiobooks are super convenient because you can like listen to them while you're driving or at the gym, and like with a book, you gotta like carve out time to
sit down and actually read.
You know, I was just talking to your brother about this yesterday about like, I saw something on Instagram or something, and it was like, you're never gonna find time for anything. You have to make time.
Yeah.
The time is already there.
Right.
You're not gonna find more of it.
Right.
You just have to make time for your priorities. And I was like, damn.
And if you care about something enough, you do make time for it.
Yeah.
You can find a way to make time for it.
Right.
There's people who use the excuse like, I don't have time. Like, you do have time.
You have the same amount of time as everybody else.
It's just a matter of making the time.
Right.
Making the time for it. To the point that you brought up a minute ago, like reading a book is much more challenging in terms of like actually sitting down and having to like carve out the amount of time to actually sit down and read and put effort into it. And I think in part that's what makes it more rewarding. You know, I think that the more effort, concerted effort you put into something, the more you get out of it. You know, so maybe they're just like psychologically or subconsciously, there's more benefit to actually sitting down and reading because you have to put active, concerted effort and thought into it.
That's a good point.
As opposed to like a podcast you can just listen to, so you might phase in and out of actually listening. You're not getting the full benefit of it because you're not focusing 100% on it and putting all of your effort into it like you would when you read, you know?
I never thought about it like that. It's a good point.
And that kind of extrapolates like to a lot of things, like, you know, like for example, going to the gym or working out or whatever it might be, whatever habit you have, like the more you put into it, the more you get out of it, you know?
Yeah.
And so like if you're putting in 100% effort, you can expect 100% return on it. And if you're putting in 50% effort, you're gonna expect 50% return, you know?
Right, and that's, okay, so that's a big one, right? Because, you know, I'm for sure guilty of this, but I know that there's a lot of people that will like, why aren't I getting this? Or like, why didn't I get promoted, or why didn't I get that job, or why didn't I win this competition or whatever? And it's like, it all comes back to you. Like, it's people, I think like the masses, people aren't the brightest, you know, but like individual people for the most part are like pretty smart, and they can tell when you're bullshitting. So if you're like, you know, you go in and you interview for a job, they're gonna see right through your facade if you're not being authentic. You know, they're gonna be like, this guy, you know. And like, because I applied for a bunch of jobs a few months ago, I got a couple of them. I actually worked at one for like one day and then quit. But my problem was that I was applying for jobs with no experience or like very minimal experience, you know.
Right.
And I would go in and I would interview really well.
Right.
And then I wouldn't get the job. I'm like, why didn't I get the job?
Right.
You know, and I would ask them, be like, we're looking for people with like 2 to 3 years of experience, and you have 6 months. And I'm like, shit, all right, that's fair.
Yeah.
You know, but that's me.
Right.
That's like I can't.
Right.
There's no way to get around that other than to do more, right?
Yeah.
So like I can't blame them for not giving me a job.
Exactly.
They're trying to find the best person, best qualified person, and I'm clearly not that person.
Yes.
Maybe I am. Maybe I am the most qualified person.
Right.
Because you don't have to, this comes back to the like authority and leadership.
Right.
Like maybe I am 100% qualified.
Right.
But they don't see it and they don't know it because I don't have the credentials to prove it.
Exactly.
So.
Exactly. And a good leader might give you that opportunity. You know, a good leader, you might meet someone who's a good leader that says, I see the potential in this person.
Yeah.
And I'm willing to give them an opportunity. But to take it back,
those are hard to come by.
They're hard to come by. That's because there's not a lot of leaders.
Right.
Period. You know, there's not. Gary Vee is a great example of a leader. You know, there was a guy that stood up in his audience and he was like, I have a dream to work for you one day. He was like, you're hired.
Yeah.
Didn't even know his credentials or anything. He's like, you're hired. If you have that kind of passion and drive and the tenacity and the guts to stand up in front of thousands of people and say, I want a job at your company, you're fucking hired, baby.
Yeah.
Because that takes balls and that takes courage. And people should recognize those things, you know?
Yeah.
And that's what makes Gary Vee one of like the most inspiring and transformational leaders of our generation, is that he is truly a leader. And it's not often you come by that. To take it back in those steps is like, we talked about this thing of like, the more you put in, the more you get out, right? Like, I think the important thing to touch on here is that it comes down to effort. You know? Yeah. Effort is important because nobody can judge effort. You know, effort is between you and you. Only you judge how much effort you're putting out.
Right.
And only you know if you didn't give 100% effort.
Right.
Right? So, like, I will talk to people at the gym and, like, this is an example. I go to the gym a lot, so it's, like, one of my main examples in life because when I'm there, I give 100% effort. I always go the extra mile because I know that every rep that I do, every additional plate that I add or weight that I add, it gets me closer to my goal, you know, looking the way that I want to look. So I put 100% effort into it, expecting 100% out. And if I go in there and don't put in 100% effort, I feel it at the end of the day. I feel like, damn, I could have done more, you know? And a lot of people go in there and do that. They go there just to be there, or just to like do the fucking half-ass minimum, or just go there to get by. And they don't know what it feels like to give 100% effort, so it doesn't bother them.
Yeah.
You know? So they don't have that scale of judgment. But what I find with people most often is that when I take someone to the gym with me and I work out with them, they're like, fuck, this dude's putting in a lot of work, you know? And for me, I'm like, yeah, this is 100% effort. I'm here. I love this. This is what I want to do, you know? And they see that and like, okay, maybe I could put in a little more effort too, you know? And then I've done this with people at work, and then they work out with me like, damn, that was a really good workout. And I'm like, yeah, that felt great because you put in a lot of effort. So now you feel good because you got a lot out of it.
Right.
You know, it's a self-validation that comes with an extensive amount of effort and an uncompromising work ethic. You know? So.
I mean, I've definitely been in that position, like going to the gym with you. Even like back in high school, bro. I would go to the gym with you at LA Fitness back in the day. Like, fuck, man. Wearing me out. Jesus Christ.
Dude, for me, it's like, that's my therapy, you know?
Yeah.
Like CT Fletcher says, like, my therapy sits on the end of a 45-pound bar, you know? And that's it, man. Like, I don't need to talk to anybody. I just go to the gym, put my headphones in, and I just fucking get down. And, like, that's my zone. That's my place. It's like, that's where I resolve all my issues, you know? Like, I have a lot of the same insecurities that followed me from when I was a child to elementary, middle, high school are still the same insecurities that follow me today. The difference is the way I view them now, you know? Instead of, like, cowering from my insecurities, I just look them in the mirror and I'm like, let's go, motherfucker. Another day. Like, I'm still here, you know? And I'm back to put in some fucking work and, like, further suppress you and further become more confident and capable in doing so, you know? And that's, like...
And that's it's a snowball. You know?
Yeah.
Like, there's... You know, people... a lot of the time associate like the snowball effect with negative, right?
Yeah,
but,
no.
Bro,
No, that's...
you get a little positive snowball going.
Yeah, that shit.
I feel like I'm on one right now, you know,
Yeah,
with like this morning and evening routine that I built. I'm like,
right.
Bro,
yes,
catch me in a year.
Yes, it just accumulates so much.
Yeah, man.
More than you know.
Compounding.
It's the same thing we talked about previously on the last podcast, the compounding effect.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, if you channel that like feeling of snowball effect from negative to positive, oh my god, like
your whole viewpoint changes and you're like,
so
bro,
much, man. It
like,
changes so much.
If you can envision only positive snowballs,
yes,
right?
Yes.
And every negative thing does not stop the snowball.
No.
It just temporarily causes it to not rotate, right? It's like it's like going over a speed bump.
Yeah.
You gotta slow down and like boom, boom.
Yeah.
And then keep going.
And then at some point, your snowball gets so big that it just plows right through this fucking thing.
Yeah, man.
And negative things just get caught up in the positive, and they have no choice but to become positive things.
And then the snowball is an avalanche.
And then the snowball is an avalanche.
Annihilating everything in the way.
It just annihilates everything in the way. And then, like, so talk about, like, eliminating obstacles. Like, you become so positive at some point that, like, you don't even see these things are no longer speed bumps. You don't see them as obstacles. You see them as opportunities. So, like, at that point, they turn from speed bumps to little ramps, and you start launching off of them. And it's like, whoa, like, fuck yeah, that was, you know, that just propelled me forward even more. That challenge was actually an opportunity in disguise. And I've now gone farther having endured that.
Right.
Like, my snowball has rolled farther downhill and launched farther off the next jump because, like, that's what happens, you know. It's that compounding effect and, like, the viewpoint that you don't ever lose. You just win or you learn.
Yeah.
You know? And, like, if you have that perspective, if you truly adopt that perspective that, like, here comes a challenge, but it's not a challenge, it's an opportunity, and I'm going to learn from this. So let's endure it head on. Let's fucking dive straight into it and experience the pain, the shame, whatever comes with it, and learn and become better. Fuck.
Yeah,
watch out, dude, for that person.
Another end of that is, like, I think I've mentioned this before on the podcast, but another thing from Simon Sinek is, like, he was, like, you know, talking about the correlation between, like, the symptoms of being nervous and being excited.
Yes.
And they're pretty much the exact same thing. So
physical response.
Anytime you're nervous and you're, like, start getting sweaty and your heart starts racing, like, catch yourself, try to catch yourself. You know, it's obviously, like, it's a learned thing. You have to, like, practice it, you know, but like, if you notice it and you're like, I'm not nervous, I'm excited.
Yeah.
And, like, there's, like, that ever so subtle shift in your mindset, and you're like, coming at you.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. It's the same thing if you walk around with a smile on your face, even if you're not really happy.
Yeah.
You know, if you're not happy, but you force yourself to smile all day, you will literally find yourself being happier. It's impossible. Like, if anybody's sitting at home right now, just sit there and just smile. Just like, cheese. Like, you'll become naturally happier.
Yeah,
all of a sudden you're like, oh shit, I feel a little better, you know? Like, just fucking smile. Just smile. Like, just try it for one day. Walk around all day just smiling. At the end of the day, you'll be like, God damn, that was a good day.
You know?
You know? Feel much better about myself.
Yeah.
You know? And, like, the time will pass and you'll just be like, that was great. Love that. You know? Yeah. So anyway, fucking be positive, man. what is it that atmosphere says? Like, love life, you know?
Yeah.
Love life.
Atmosphere, man.
L-O-V-E.
Did you listen to that new Services album?
Horizons.
Yeah.
I did.
I listened to a few songs. I was like, because you had sent it to me, I don't remember when, but I started playing it in the gym, and then I was like, it's not a gym vibe.
It's really hard to compete with Where the Light Is.
It is.
It's really hard to compete with that. To duplicate that album for them will be very, very challenging.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to top that. You know?
Very, very challenging. That album is really something special. And Horizons is good, but Where the Light is excellent.
Yeah.
Every song on that album is fucking excellent.
Yeah.
And Sunday Best, I mean, you name it, man.
Yeah. I mean, we turned that on Heaven Falls yesterday.
Dude, yeah.
Driving on the freeway.
Yeah, we talked about setting that as, like, our wake-up alarm. You know?
Yeah.
Because it starts off a little soft, and
then,
like, it just smacks you in the face with positivity. It's like, fucking smacks you, you know? And you have no choice but to wake up positive when that happens, you know? The beat just drops, all of a sudden you're like, oh, fuck, I'm happy. This is great, you know? And it's like, woke up early in the morning. Yeah. Like, just to feel the light of day.
Man.
Yeah.
Had to open up my windows, get the shadows out the way.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Man, we talked about in the last podcast, like, music is just fucking, oh man, it just transcends, like, generations, everything. It's just, it's the most beautiful thing in the world, man. And if you start your day, I used to have banana pancakes as my wake up ringtone. Jack Johnson, which was
song.
great. And then after like 2 years, I was like, I fucking hate this song because I correlated it with like getting up early every day. And at some point, like I heard the song, I was like, all right, I'm over it, you know. And I don't want to do that with that album because like that album is really something special, man.
Yeah,
it really is.
I think I am gonna put Heaven Falls as my wake up though.
Yeah, for sure.
Just for a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
Try it for like a month.
And dude, especially for you, you're in this mode of like as soon as you wake up, like hot shower or cold shower, get it right away. So that song is like the best thing because it's like there's no slow start. It's like boom, and the beat drops. Okay, that's it. Time to get up.
Dude, you know what I did yesterday? I can't believe I haven't been doing this the whole time I've been juicing.
Right.
I prepped my juices for each day.
Yeah, I think you were telling me about this yesterday.
I don't know why I didn't do it.
Right.
I haven't been doing it. Each morning, I'm like, I go in and I like grab these bags out of the fridge and like grab a portion of each one and then like peel the orange and the lemon and cut the ginger and like all this. And I was like, why don't I just prep it?
Right.
You know, and portion it out for each day.
Right.
So I did it for 6 days. Yeah. So today was day 1. But
so
like,
do you just prep like individual glasses? Or do you prep like a pitcher?
No, individual glasses.
Oh, okay.
Because I don't think it keeps. I don't know. I mean, so I bought Ziploc bags, which are like probably not the best, you know, storage for the environment, you know, but I would need like really big Tupperware containers. Yeah. Maybe I should look and get some of those.
Or you just do like individual like 16-ounce glasses with like not like saran wrap over the top of them. Just put them in the fridge. There's some saran wrap over the top.
Oh, okay. No. I haven't made the juice yet.
Oh. I see what you're doing. You're putting the portions in the bags.
Right.
Then you
and
juice
then the morning of, I juice it.
I got you.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense, yeah.
So, but I have like everything like cut and washed and ready to go. So like in the morning, I just grab a bag out the fridge, throw it in the juicer.
Right. That's
so chug it, bro.
Yeah,
I know.
I need to get a juicer.
I ran out of ginger though. That was like one thing I forgot. I thought I had more, but I didn't.
Yeah. Ginger's really
Gotta get some.
Yeah. Well, dude, should we call it?
Yeah, man. And I don't know, almost an hour and a half, I think.
Okay. Yeah. Well, cheers, dude. Cheers to another good podcast. As always, thank you guys for joining us. We appreciate you listening in. Hopefully we'll just keep. Well, no, not hopefully. We will keep doing this, and hopefully we keep bringing and adding value to your lives. Yeah. That's our objective here.
And if you wanna watch the Instagram story, about how this setup was made and how easy it is, and the fact that I can bring it with me anywhere.
Right.
Just go to _ the comeback journey on Instagram and watch it, and it's like 10 minutes, and check it out, bro. It's super straightforward, and literally anybody can do it.
Yeah. And one more thing. Go ahead. We consider all of you that watch this friends, and thereby, per our conversation, we would like for your feedback, whether it be constructive, positive, whatever you got to say. Give us some feedback. You know, we want to improve on this. We want to do better, speak better, be better. And so feedback is crucial to that. So I think that if you're listening in, provide us some feedback. It doesn't matter if it's 1 review, 10 reviews, 100 reviews. We just want some feedback to get better and to do better for you, really, because we want better quality audio. We want better things to say and talk about. So constructive feedback is always appreciated, and we won't take it negatively in any way. We'll just try to do and be better because of it. So cheers.
Yeah, I mentioned that when I recorded the podcast yesterday. I said, Dan, you know, like any topics anybody wants to hear, any like specific with me and you, or just like a topic, and if we're recording with somebody else, like whoever, like let us know, and we can, you know, we'll do a little research or just go off the top and talk about whatever, but the feedback would be fantastic if y'all want to help us out. That would be excellent.
All right, brother.
All right, guys. Signing off.
Cheers.
Until next time.
Boom.